Steve Gamache with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and this time we're looking at the Misuzu AUS or AUS10, depending on how you like to pronounce it, Nakiri 165mm knife. So this knife does have a core steel. I'm going to call it AUS10 stainless, and they've got a series of these stainless steels. This is a bit higher carbon content percentage than the AUS8, which is a popular steel used in, let's say, the Fujiwara FKM series. So this should have maybe just a little bit better edge retention. But again, a very popular line of steels. It's fully stainless. The heat treat's about 60-ish Rockwell or so on that. And the construction is a multi-layered soft stainless cladding. You can see the pattern showing up there over the top of that core steel. So for a Damascus look. The weight on the knife, this is a light knife. It's 4.4 ounces, 126 grams, and the edge length is right about 165 or 6.5 inches. The overall length is about 12.2 inches, and these are pretty thin. The spine on this one's about 1.7 millimeters, and pretty much just has that same thickness all the way out till you hit the end of the blade. The tip's really down here. This is the end of the blade. And blade height is not a tall Nakiri. It's a little under 45 millimeters in height. So definitely not one of the taller ones. You can get Nakiris from this range all the way up to 60 millimeters. So there's a lot of different height variations and different models. Handle is just a nicely finished, nothing real special, but octagonal hoe wood with black. I've got black packawood on here, but to me, we'll get a close-up look, but this also could be buffalo horn. I kind of think it might be buffalo horn. So if the Chef Knives to Go site says buffalo horn, hey, it's buffalo horn. If not, black packawood. But I'm kind of thinking buffalo horn just looking at it. Circumference of the handle is a standard 3-inch right here where the ferrule meets the wood. And they've got a pretty nice install on handle as well. Let's take a look at actually, let's do this. Let's look at the balance on it. So you can see the balance point is pretty close to a pinch grip. So almost right on the money. This has a fairly shiny polish to it, so it's going to be a little tricky, but this particular one has a embossed logo on it. And on the back side, you've got some hand-chiseled kanji for a nice upscale feature. And it's a really striking blade, so you can definitely see the core steel peeking out there at the edge. Out of the box edge, probably about a 6 out of 10. It was actually pretty sharp and a pretty reasonably cut bevel. So you could of course get them sharper, but I'd say this one was pretty ready to go out of the box. You've got enough relieving on the spine and the choil to make it comfortable, and you've got a pretty nice finish on the blade itself and on the handle install. So it's a nicely finished blade. It's pretty well ready to rock and roll. Let's look at it on our cutting board. Again, this is very light and very flickable. So here's your profile. It's kind of a little bit of a curve, not much of a dead flat spot, but it goes into a little bit of a flat at the heel, not much, and then plenty of curve towards the tip. So with those rounded tips, you can rock all you want if you desire to do that. So it's not a super flat, I'd say a little bit more on the curvy side. Not a ton of blade clearance, but unless you've got really big hands or fingers, it probably should be sufficient. You could always work off the edge of the board if you needed to do that for additional hand clearance. So there you have a very light, nimble, nice-looking Damascus with a polished finish Nakiri. This is the Misuzu AUS10 or AUS10 Nakiri 165mm knife.